Wrong glasses. Where's the style consultant when I need her? We need to get the hair done. I'm a little pasty today because I put all that gel on there. And there I see myself, so that's a good sign. Put all that gel on there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, we made it. Had a big traffic jam today. I go through 5 stoplights in about 2 or 3 miles just over the hill to the office. Some people think I'm in my home, but no, this is my happy place. No, this is where I'm just do this stuff. Anyway, so lots of traffic. I don't know, 2 stoplights. We had to sit and wait. But anyway, I made it, and here we are. So let's dig in and have some fun. Okay, Babylist blends URL and IRL, which I think is in real. And I don't know what URL does. I don't know what it stands for. But anyway, it's the little gizmo that you go to, and they've created, based on their showrooms, I guess, sorta. They have some physical pop-ups, and they also have an LA-based showroom. They've created a walkthrough experience with 650 products that they say are in an authentic and integrated staging. And consumers feel that they're not pressured, and it allowed them to browse and experience the products freely in a more tangible way. I don't know about that, but let's go and show you what it looks like because it's kind of fun. And remind me, somebody get on there if I don't get back to reality. Okay, so here's your thing, and you can walk around in here. You can click a deal, and then you can go in the hallway, and here's a stroller, for example. And then the stroller has a little happy thing on it, a little heart. And if you click on that, then you see that it's a TRVL Easy Fold Compact Stroller for a mere $550. Oh my goodness. Anyway, and you can see other pictures of it like that. So there's some description and customizable. I don't see any dimensions, but one of the great things, which you should always have some dimensions. Anyway, now I think we got to open this up a little more. Flaw in the presentation. It doesn't let me get back to the thing unless I can see the little X. So you have to open it in a big enough space because it doesn't close up. And so then you can walk in a little farther, and there's all these products. Now, if you think this is authentic, I don't know what. But I know that one of the furniture companies I worked with over the years, and I've worked with many, did a landscape catalog because it allowed them to put more product groupings in there, more furniture, and essentially show them in a room space, which I think was effective. The other thing this does is it gives you a rough feel for some of the scale of the product. So this is a pretty small, it's like a small child carrier. But when you go on here, you learn, because I happen to do that this thing works for little babies and then bigger babies and then up until 2 years plus. Okay, so, and it can spin around then. So this is rear facing, and then front facing. And it's a mere $600. So babies are expensive. I had 4. I don't think we used car seats back then. I don't think we used seat belts. Yes, we did. Okay. So anyway, this is a kind of a clever thing, and you can look around in the room. And I was trying to think. There's the way we came in. See, although we came in a wooden door, wooden garage door. Here's a kitchen, and look at this. So let's go over this way. Oh, now we're out in the backyard out to the used car lot or something. Look at all this. Again, it's not authentic. It's just, they set it out in the 3D world, and so you can sort of create your own views and your own groupings, and you can bop around the little, and there's some you know, unfortunately, stuff like this gets really lost. You know, you just don't have the control of alternate sizing. You know, like you know, this. Can you zoom in? No, can't zoom in. So at least I can't zoom in the way I would expect. You know. So anyway, all of this gets lost. Presumably, those are authentic products as well. What's this? Portable rocker. So you can get a little bounce in your seat. Okay, so anyway, never seen that before, so I learned something new. But here's, you know, copy. Well, I guess the copy's right there. Anyway, I was thinking that maybe, you know, Bass Pro should have something like, you know, show me highlight film of like the fishing tournament. See here, they got it looks like, you know, a fishing tournament picture, but you could do a little highlight reel after the tournament's over and just show a little minute or two clip of the winners landing some fish, because they actually put cameramen on the boats to, you know, to do the highlights, and then have it a little VR so you could roll it around and click on all of the different items that are being used, the rod, the reel, and you could see all about it. Or a golf, you know, somebody like Titleist or Ping could show show Bubba Watson and show him using the clubs, and then show a little extra highlight like these guys did, and away we go. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I hope you liked. I hope you liked it. Okay, so also in the news, the Senate passes a $107 billion overhaul of USPS. Traditionally, the Republicans have held up the UPS as a perfect illustration of government bureaucracy and bloated spending. And the Democrats have held up the faithful postal workers slogging through the snow and delivering when we deliver. That was the theme for a while. And not to take sides, but nearly half of all ballots were cast by mail. I'm not going to say voters. We might differentiate between at least in Wisconsin, we're finding out that half the people that voted in nursing homes were told what to do or something. I don't know. It's getting quite funny here in Wisconsin about all the illegality that went on. Documented illegality. No, it didn't have any possibility of swinging the election that was decided by a mere handful of votes. But, and because we had delayed counting, we could know just how many we needed. But anyway, so the Postal Service did a great job delivering packages in the pandemic. And now I'll get to what I really want to get to, which is that mail still works great if you do it well. This is just an excellent article by Stephen Oliver. It's about, 17-minute article. It's a long article. And so I'm not going to get into all of it, but it's just chock full of great ideas. And it explains why. It's apparently this guy's a marketing guy that helps financial advisors who are horrible at marketing. And he makes some great points. He said they brag about their 10% annual return and want a gold medal for beating the market by 2 points, but we regularly get 200% and 300%, 500%, even 1,000% return on investment. Yes, we do. We really do. I have done it, and documented head-to-head holdout tests and modeling tests and all kinds of tests they've subjected me to. Anyway, not annually, but, on an individual drop. Dick Cabela told me I made $2.4 million for him on the first drop. He used me. Now, that was in the context of not a very good RFM that they were using. But You know, it's mentioned right here in the article, the same thing, where somebody puts you on a mailing list or an email list for 29 days, emails you every day, and if you don't do any kind of response, then you're gone. And 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 uh, and Steven says you don't want to do that. You want to at least, you know, once you stop, you're guaranteeing that you've got no return on investment. So think about marketing not as an expense, which is the way almost all CFOs think of it. You know, if you look at a P&L for a company, marketing is listed as an expense item, right? Like a rent, okay? Something you have to do, okay? But the key to expanding your marketing budget is uh, getting your CFO to understand the connection between spending and return on investment. Now, that's especially difficult if you don't do any testing, if you don't do a holdout test, which can show the incremental lift of a mailing, right? That's how you prove the 300% return on investment right there. It's just like buying a machine tool, okay? If you could show the CFO a 300% EBITDA return on investment, if you don't know what EBITDA is, give me a call and we'll have a talk. Join the WDMA, and then you won't feel guilty about taking up my time. You you might still be guilty, but you won't feel so bad. Okay? And so uh, he goes on to explain the long-term nature. He says some famous marketer in charge of spending billions of dollars, actually it was John Wanamaker, whose stores really were open between, mainly they peaked around World War One, who said half my advertising money is wasted. I wish I knew which half. It's pretty close to I found about a dozen different versions of that, but I like that one. That's my own version of his statement that's kind of punchy. And it wasn't billions because he only had 16 stores and he eventually got bought up by Macy's. But all that little trivia, the point is that if you can show your CFO and your CEO, and it's part of my case study in, what I showed in the Love Sack, when we were working together, I showed the VP of marketing, Patrick, great guy, very smart, asked me a great question. He said, why should we be mailing people who already know what we sell when our biggest problem is brand recognition? People don't know what we sell. And I said, that's an excellent question. That's one of the best questions I've ever been asked. Would you like to know the answer? He said, how can you know the answer? Again, like John Wanamaker. I said, well, what we'll do is we'll mail most of the mailing, and we'll not mail some of the mailing, and we'll be very careful about it. The Ents don't work as well in that because you'll tend to not mail. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter, but you want to balance it out because you can easily exclude a few of the top buyers and make it look bad, or you can, there's a lot more of the bad buyers than there are the good. So it's easy to hold them out and make it look too good. But anyway, so you make it fair, do it after you do the model, and then what we found was a 300% EBITDA. So for every dollar you spent, we probably got about $10 in sales, and we probably got about $3 in profit. And I'm making those up, but that's kind of the way the world works. But most marketers measure clicks, opt-ins, conversions to appointments, and maybe get to sales. But by then we've got such a long, convoluted customer journey that we don't know what's going on. So you would like to have sales and be able to track it back to how you got them. And that we can do in direct mail especially well because we know who got mailed and who didn't. And we know, and we can make a specific offer. And so we can assume engagement by all the mailed people because we know they had to look at it, they had to touch it, they had to evaluate it and throw it out. And we talked about that yesterday. Okay, this is like a graduate level course, you guys. So just because digital marketing is there doesn't mean it's the best option. If a company did only cold contacts on LinkedIn, you might say, why don't you just go over to the neighborhood over there by that golf course and find all the 3-car garages and just knock on doors? It might be more productive than cold contacts on LinkedIn. Probably would be, right? Especially if you were a local financial advisor, right? That was a nice. Look at this, Stephen Oliver. How about that? That's cool. Anyway, this fixation on everything digital nowadays often leads people to tell us that direct mail doesn't work. Okay? But you get 200 emails in your box every day, and many of them get stuck in your spam folder. Well, deliberately so. We want the email to filter into the spam folder. But just yesterday, I called up a guy to follow up because I had mailed him on Monday, and I said, maybe it's, did you see my email? No, I didn't. Well, maybe it's in your spam folder. Oh, there it is. And that's a personal email. I should have mailed them, right? But anyway, there was a reason, I guess. Anyway, so we all know day by day that email doesn't really work. Even personally handcrafted messages, that doesn't work. Much less our spam. Although we're getting really high open rates on our WDMA spam, which is really great. I guess people are starting to enjoy our little get-togethers. Anyway, so hardly anyone, and I've said this too, I mean, you could literally print out an email if your printer's working, if it has toner, if it decides to go on to the Wi-Fi network. I still have a cord that I plug in because I just gave up on trying to get the Wi-Fi printer. It works for my wife's Linux machine, but it doesn't work for mine. But anyway, so hardly anybody prints out, email and says, oh, I got to remember this offer. But with direct mail, it's still hanging around. This Bass Pro Shops is still on my desk, and so is that lawn care thing. I see my wife putting up she puts up offers for new window replacement. Somehow they end up in my coffee. Anyway, the volume, you can say, and this is something I've said. I really like this, Stephen. The volume of direct mail is down, and, he's right. The volume of mail is down because we're not sending bills anymore. And I haven't really dug into this. I'm not fact-checking this. I'll just say, yeah, maybe mail is down overall. But he says marketing mail is actually up. I don't think that's true, but it might be true. But, so marketing mail is every bit what it was 10 or 12 years ago. Not sure, just not sure. But, digital is not as likely to hit people, high net worth people. And, I've tried to email guys like, I can't remember. Tom Siebel, there he is. The brain is still in there. It just is a little slow these days. I did get in touch with Tom Siebel. He connected with me on LinkedIn, and I sent him a couple messages, but I didn't hear back from him. He's the one who took CRM and made it into $1 billion industry, and so I wanted to thank him for giving my ideas visibility. Anyway, direct mail has more trust, and that is true. The last part, we're going to skip to the end here. The last part is probably the best. Okay, he basically argues that even, and he's got some really creative ideas like a message in a bottle. Excellent, But the last thing is, you don't necessarily want to do the high ticket mailing. He said, we sent out a list of 400 contacts and sent 200 by priority mail and 200 in a cheap version. And the cheap versions won. Now, it could be that the cheap versions won because $9, it's not a big enough sample set, first of all, if you know anything about statistics. 400 is not probably reliable. But anyway, but that aside, so if you send out 400 and let's say you got 10 responses, okay? So 400 times 9 is 4 times 9 is 36. So you spent $3,600 on you only did 200 of them. So you spent $1,800 on the expensive one, and let's say you did $1 on the other one. You spent $200 on the other one. So you get one response, and it wins. Am I going too fast for you? I'm doing math in my head here, live. Anyway, so it could be that the cheap ones won on return on investment. It may not be that the cheap ones actually generated more responses. And sometimes if you have a super great list of only 400 people, and he kind of makes that point up above, you might want to spend the money. He sends boxes of popcorn and Mrs. Fields cookies and a lot of other things. Okay. So we don't know how they won, but the point is you don't know until you test it. And there's a lot of ways to test it, and there's ways to look at even testing. And that's why you want to join the WDMA. Give me a call. I'll look over your mailing piece. We'll see what you're doing. There's always something to test, even if there isn't something to improve. Good point. Have a great day. I got a share yesterday or the day before. Those shares are really powerful. So if you really like something, you can hit like, but also hit share, because that alerts LinkedIn that you actually are listening.